Paris, 1906. She waits for a moment when he is not there. Then Anna leaves the palace with her 3 sons. No drama, no scene. She dismisses the staff, closes the doors. The furniture remains, the marble remains, the house remains. When he returns, the building is still standing. Pink marble, Avenue Foch, Paris, twice as high as the Grand Trianon in Versailles. But everything that had filled it is gone. The voices, the staff, the woman, and the children. He designed the house. She paid for it. What remains of a woman who leaves nothing behind except an action? The name that made this house possible was not French. It was American. Anna Gould, born in 1875 in New York, daughter of Jay Gould. Jay Gould at times controlled 1/6 of all railroad tracks in the United States. He manipulated markets, bribed politicians, ruined competitors. Americans called men like him robber barons, industrialists who did not build their wealth through invention, but through exploitation. Jay Gould considered himself the most hated man in America, and he was probably right. When he died in 1892, he left his daughter not only immense wealth, but also a name that old New York society did not receive. Wealth alone did not open doors there, not when it had been earned that way. Anna was 20 years old. She had an annual income of $500,000, month after month, without lifting a finger. And she was looking for a way out of New York, out of her father's shadow. In the 1890s, a system existed, not a secret one, a public one. American money, European titles. There was even a magazine for it, titled Americans, a directory. On one side, American heiresses with fortunes. On the other, European aristocrats with titles and empty accounts. They were called dollar princesses, daughters of industrialists who bought in Europe what they could not obtain at home: a name, a title, a place in society. In 1895 alone, 9 American heiresses married European aristocrats. One of them, Anna Gould. Boniface de Castellane, called Boni, came from one of the oldest noble families in France. He traveled to New York with a single goal. To the press, he said he had come to discover the country as an experienced sportsman to hunt. What exactly he was hunting, he left open. Boni de Castellane was not an impoverished aristocrat trying to save a decaying estate. He was a dandy, a man of leisure, a man who determined what counted as elegant in Paris. How one dressed, how one hosted, how one lived. He did not want to survive. He wanted to shine. For that he needed money, a lot of it. He brought what Anna did not have: name, title, access. In 1895, they married in Manhattan. The press writes about jewelry, diamonds, gifts. And between the lines, another observation: that this was less the beginning of a relationship than an arrangement. Boni de Castellane spends the money freely: an apartment in Paris, a chateau outside the city, another in the south. A ship, 230 feet long, with a crew of 100. But that is not enough for him. The house is not built for her. In 1896, he buys a plot of land, Avenue Foch, Paris. One of the most expensive addresses in the city, 3,500 square meters. He commissions the architects Ernest Sanson and René Sergent, sets the direction, controls the details. The model, the Grand Trianon in Versailles, but not copied, enlarged, exaggerated, twice as high as the original. The marble comes from the same quarries as in Versailles, pink, heavy, unmissable. The building has 6,000 square meters. In the basement, a bakery, a grocery shop, even the servants' quarters have running water and central heating. It costs 4 million gold francs. Today, that would roughly be 15 to 20 million euros, depending on the calculation. Anna's money. In 1902, it is completed. Until 1906, they host up to 2,000 guests per evening. Kings, queens, all of Paris of the Belle Époque. In December 1905, a few weeks before the end, they host the kings of Spain and Portugal. The palace is at its peak, and just before standing empty. January 1906. She waits for a moment when he is not there. Then Anna leaves the palace with her 3 sons. No drama, no scene. She dismisses the staff, closes the doors. The furniture remains, the marble remains, the house remains, and is awarded to her. What she leaves is not the building, but the life that had taken place inside it. In November 1906, the divorce is finalized. The courts decide clearly, the wealth remains with her, the children as well. In 11 years, he has spent around $10 million, not on her, but on the life he had imagined for himself. Anna marries again, this time Élie de Talleyrand-Périgord, Bonny's cousin. To the outrage of her family, to the amusement of Paris, she has Bonny's initials removed from the palace. The coats of arms of the Castellane are replaced by those of the Talleyrand. The 2 men no longer greet each other in public. Bonny is said to have remarked, "We know each other a little. We served in the same corps." The second marriage is different. No palace, no spectacle. They live in the Château du Marais, the estate in Essonne that Anna had acquired during her first marriage. Stable, quiet, almost 30 years. Bonny dies in 1932, with debts to his florist, his tailor, his shirtmaker. Years earlier, her son Howard is 20 years old. He wants to marry. His parents refuse permission, not because of the girl, but because of his age. He is supposed to wait until he is 21. He does not wait. He dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Anna issues a statement, public, direct, without evasion. Time magazine writes, "When the press arrived, she was ready," with an open, detailed statement, one that prevented the sensationalism of the tabloids. She says, "We had nothing against the girl, only against the age of our son." In 1937, Talleyrand dies. In 1938, Anna's older sister, Helen, dies. Lyndhurst, the family estate in Tarrytown, New York, passes to Anna. In 1939, Anna leaves Paris, with her dogs, with a few suitcases. She believes she is waiting out a short war. The Palais Rose remains behind, empty, closed. From 1940 to 1944, a German general lives there, Karl Heinrich von Stülpnagel. Military commander in occupied France, he orders hostage executions. At the same time, he is part of the resistance against Hitler. On July 20th, 1944, the day of the assassination attempt, he has 1,200 SS and Gestapo men in Paris arrested. The attempt fails. Stülpnagel is recalled. On the way to Berlin, he attempts to shoot himself. He survives, blind. On August 30th, 1944, he is executed in Berlin-Plötzensee. The house in which the kings of Spain and Portugal were received becomes the place of action of a man caught between command and conscience. After the war, the French government continues to use the house. In a house built for parties, negotiations about the Cold War take place. In 1948 and 1951, the great powers sit there and decide the future of Germany and Austria. Anna does not return to Paris. She lives in Tarrytown. She auctions her famous orchid collection, 5,000 plant, for the American Red Cross. In the summer of 1961, she travels to France one last time, to her daughter. In November, she dies in Paris, 86 years old, buried in the Passy Cemetery, beside her second husband, not beside Bonny. She leaves Lyndhurst to the National Trust for Historic Preservation. The estate opens as a public museum in 1965. It still exists today. The Palais Rose is sold by her heirs. The co-heirs cannot agree. They value it at 40 to 50 million new francs. The request to designate it a historic monument is rejected. A developer buys it. Even before the demolition permit is granted, he has stucco, mirrors, wood paneling, marble slabs removed. The staircase steps, each weighing half a ton, are transported to his own estate. During demolition, closets full of clothes, uniforms, books, letters are found, left behind, forgotten. In 1969, what remains is demolished. Today, an apartment block stands there, 10 floors, 90 units. A house built with American money by a man whose family had known for centuries how to live but not how to earn it. And a woman who was rejected by a society that lived off her money. The question that remains: who had more integrity, the aristocracy that sold its name or the woman who bought it, and at some point decided she no longer needed it?